biggest play of your career. He's
And it's all just trading left, right, center. The Echo with the Yokai trying to stop the Fuse, and it could go down. Corza with the cross angle. Crosses 20 seconds. The Fuse on the ground. Corza finds one. Can he cut this out? 15 seconds. Can he find kills? He sees the player on top of that. 51. Not an ad. They have to get the kills here. They have to stop.
Hello and welcome everyone from a bit of a somber Friday as we're both casting from load shedding environments. It's plagued us throughout the entire tournament, but hey, we're here bringing you a great game. What is it on the cards today, Mr. Simp?
Well, today we've got TKO on our first roster here. That's we're gonna be watching today. I can't remember who we're playing against. I believe it's Kill 4
Okay.
is the first match that we have.
I'm pretty sure it's Kill 4 versus XL.
It's 2KO. It's TKO versus Kill 4.
Okay, I am completely mistaken. Okay, no, TKO 2K.
2K.
Double K. 2Ks. And there's a 2K team.
Sorry guys, we're both a little bit confused here, but yeah, we're looking TKO against 2K Esports here. Should be quite a good lineup tonight, quite a good matchup for the first match, and then later on we've also got a match with Exhale later on, so don't stick around after the end of the stream. Yes, stick around at the end of the stream. Apologies, we got a bit confused about who's playing when, but should be a great lineup for you guys tonight. A lot of Siege action. I do believe this is the first time we're actually casting 2 consecutive games tonight, so
It's exciting to actually have like a schedule like that, to be able to bring it to viewers, just wait through, watch one game after another. Some great action. I mean, load shedding is plaguing us, but we're bringing it to your screen. So let's take a look at these lineups before we actually head into it. Got a great little graphic here highlighting the talent that we have here in SSA.
So first up, we've got TKO. Players on the roster, for the people that aren't familiar with this team at all: Mirage, Synthetic, Tucker, Bukang, and Macros. Don't worry, Macros, we don't think he's using Macros. I don't have any evidence to suggest, but it's just a funny name for him. And yeah, I don't really know too much about these players, but still, either way, hoping for some exciting Siege to come out of them. Yeah,
looking at the second team up, 2K. Some names known to us: Jix, Strix, Erixt, Relapse, and Velo. We've got a lot of rhymes there. That's going to confuse us during the broadcast, but hey, some new names, some kind of known names. Before we head actually and look at their stats, just some new teams. It's refreshing to see a lot of new players and new teams.
And what's interesting to me about this 2K team is they did beat V-Drop earlier in the the tournament, I believe.
This is 2K, you say?
Yeah, I do believe it was 2K. I'm just looking. Oh no, it was not 2K. What did I just look at?
Well done, son.
My apologies. I don't know what I just looked
for
at.
One team.
So give me a second. I don't know what I just looked at here. I looked at something.
Okay,
yes, my apologies. Yes, it was.
Okay, so they have beaten V-Drop. We have that confirmation. What was the score if you have that?
It was a 7-1 victory for them.
Oh, wow. That is concise.
Yeah, 7-1 victory over V-Drop Gaming, with Eric's taking 14 for 4.
And V-Drop has always been one of the kind of second seed teams. They always tend to fall behind the quote-unquote S-tier teams, but they still make a name for themselves, and they're a well-known team here. So 2K, taking them down heading into this, that's a good one. That puts them easily middle of the pack, and looking at their stats, that's going to follow up. Looking at Macros here, 990 hours in the game. He might be new to our screens and our minds, but he's definitely not new to the game.
Look, there's a lot of potential here. Having that many hours, yes, maybe we don't know who he is, but having that many hours just right there, that shows a lot of experience, and it's definitely the person he knows how to play the game. There isn't even a doubt about that in my mind. It's just a question of how can he translate that into his team. So far, we've seen he's got that positive KD, and he has been a bit of a kill leader for his team, racking up the kills so far in the tournament. So maybe what he's going to... I'm expecting to see him spearheading the lead for the team. What I want to see from him is, can he be consistent throughout this match? Especially now that we've seen that 2K actually did beat V-Drop, it's not going to be easy competition for them.
Yeah, and you've got Eric's tier. We're going to pull up his stats as well. Very equally matched players in terms of their hours in the game and kills so far this tournament. But his KD throughout this tournament, 1.4. That's a big highlight.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big highlight. It's really something that's going to we're going to have to watch out for him, see how he can do in this match. Yes, I don't think they've played that many matches yet. 27 kills. It's a fair amount of matches, but it's not the end of the group stage yet. But it is still enough that really it's for us to know that we need to keep an eye on Eriks, and I'm expecting to see some big kills come out of him.
So then looking at the social vote, who do you think will take this game? We took it to Twitter, and the answer, quite one-sided. You think 2K is going to win this game. You know, you talked about their previous games heading into this one, beating out V-Drop. So you would think maybe 2K has the one up,
Yeah.
but that's quite a big one-sided vote.
Yeah, that's very one-sided. But to be fair, in this tournament, the community has been pretty accurate with predicting the outcomes of the matches so far within this tournament. Especially from the side of, if we look previously at the games, we saw even more decisive polls where we saw like 90% polls, and the community has been very accurate with choosing it out properly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, the players and the community knows better than us. I wouldn't put it past us to not know some information, but, 65, let's see if they truly are the favorites. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we are ready with the lobby to start. I'm not sure whether we are going to, we're quickly going to head over to the group standings.
We're still waiting for map bans here. My apologies.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a bit of a delay, but hey, can we
Yeah.
quickly look at the group standings, Observer, and just
Yeah,
talk
that would
about the
actually.
overview of
Unfortunately, we don't have the group standings up at the moment, so we just have to wait a little bit here to try and get all that. Um, as I've said that, we have just heard that TKO is fourth and 2K is sixth in the group standings. So TKO, even though we did see a big victory from 2K earlier, as we spoke earlier about them, a decisive victory over V-Drop, TKO are actually sitting higher in the standings, and they're looking to be the team that's possibly at the moment sitting better in terms of trying to get themselves to the playoffs.
Yeah, and it seems we have map bans already here for us, or yeah, the
It
first
should be coming up
ban.
in a second here. With the first ban looking like it is going to be coming from the side of 2K Esports, I believe. Yes, and it's actually Cafe that's been banned out.
Typical map, nothing too surprising there. Cafe taken off the
Yeah.
board. I've found a lot of the time EU teams don't really like Cafe. That hasn't really resonated to South African play as far as I've seen. I know it was a staple of pro play back in the day with the Shield meta and whatever. With ATK, we were talking to great lengths about their strategies on that map. But as I say that, TKO, they banned Skyscraper, one of the newer maps, something I was wishing
Yeah.
to see. But, maybe a newer team not really wanting to go to one of those more experimental maps.
I don't even think it's to do with newer teams. I think Skyscraper as a whole, no one really wants to play. No one wants to be the first team to play it,
Yeah.
But with that being said, Clubhouse being banned out, that's an old but gold map. We did actually see some gameplay on it the other day, and there was some great gameplay that we saw. So a little bit sad that it's gone, but at the same time, I'm still hoping for Theme Park. I've been waiting for Theme Park this entire tournament, and I still haven't seen it. With Border going out, I'm feeling even more excited that Theme Park might still be on the cards here.
It's interesting. It seems to me 2K is banning out the traditional maps, whereas TKO, they aren't as storied, maybe not as much experience. So they ban out the kind of newish maps that not really a lot of teams have strats on. As I say, that bank taken away, we've seen a lot of play on that map from EU teams. We've seen G2 and BDS, I believe, duke out on it. A lot has happened on that map to bring it into action. We are kind of discussing what the new changes to that map we're going to do. We were hoping. Why can they not bring us?
I want Theme Park, man. I'm sorry. I've said this a million times on stream, and I'll say it again. Theme Park is, in my opinion, one of the greatest maps this game has ever seen, and I hate the fact that it keeps getting banned out by everyone. But with that being said, the other defender-sided map of Villa gets banned out. So that means Oregon is in play, I believe, or is there another map?
Well, we need 8 bans in total.
Yeah,
so
my apologies. I'm still getting to grips with the fact that there's 9 maps, and with that being said, Chalet being gone, that doesn't mean it's actually going to be Oregon as our map then.
Yeah, okay. So Oregon then, interesting, but what would you expect from teams heading into Oregon? We said 2K banning kind of the traditional maps, whereas TKO banned the experimental maps. A different synergy
Hmm.
into this ban phase. Oregon, it's
Well,
kind of the
our,
middle way there, is it not?
yeah, Oregon's a bit of a. It's a new map, but it's not that new. It's kind of everyone knows how to play it, but there's still a lot of variance in what you can do, and every team will play it a little bit differently. And for me, what's really nice about Oregon is it's one of the maps that's not as defender-sided or attacker-sided. It tends to be quite a balanced map. And as a result, because of that, it means that there's a lot of variance in what you can do. Every team has a different opinion on how you can play the site. Some teams will do your, for example, if you use the bedroom, the top floor bedroom for it, which a lot of teams will choose as their first site, a lot of them will opt to maybe start that map, that site out by doing it more of an APAC or LATAM style, where they'll spread across the whole floor and even all the way into the armory side. And then some other teams, you'll see them attacking it as what I like to refer to as the APAC style, where they'll just go straight for the big window. So there's a
That
lot of
is my
different ways.
favorite. By
Yeah, so
far my
there's a lot
favorite.
of, yeah, there's so many ways to do it. And because it's still a relatively new map, it's not like we found out one meta that is best. There are so many different ways to play it still. And that's what makes Oregon really entertaining for me to watch.
Alpha, are you a truly old player? Do you know what I'm referring to when I say the Pengu spot for a second floor attack?
Tengu spot. It rings
Just
a
sit
bell,
on
but
the
I'm
window.
not.
Just sit on kids repel.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what spot
Yes.
you're
Okay.
talking
So
about.
I
Yes.
want to see a team bring back the oldest strategy in the book.
You want
Just
to see
put
that,
someone
or do
on
you want to
Pengu
see them
spot,
bringing
clear
them
down below from
and they,
electrical.
yeah.
Hmm? Clear
Do
down
you want
from
to see that,
electrical,
or do
just
you
jump
want
in
to
the window.
see? Do you want to see that, or do you want to see a bit of a Canadian spot?
I do not want to see a Canadian spot. I do not want to see a team repeat the atrocity that is a Canadian spot.
Yeah, two of the absolute legends of Siege as a whole, obviously having earned their titles in the spots here on this map. But that being said, we haven't actually seen a lot of, yeah, like you said, we haven't really seen a lot of teams doing that Pengu spot as we were talking about since Oregon got reintroduced with its newer variant here.
You know, from what I remember from previous events, at least, the South African strategy has been kind of a combination between the spreading out strategy from a master bedroom
Yeah,
take and window, but also weirdly a lot of focus on attic. It's something I don't
yeah.
really see from a lot of teams anymore.
Well, look, for one reason I can tell you from back in my coaching days when we were planning out how to do it is that South African teams tend to actually have at least one player sitting there in the attic itself, if not
Yeah.
one player. One of the things we used to like to do is we used to actually open up half of that wall so we could see through and have a player just sitting in there and just that the player's whole job is to not let himself get forced out of there.
Yeah, and usually you'd open up at least one of the walls from bottom attic towards trophy. So when you get that attic wall open, you've got a crossfire onto trophy and master bedroom. Locking off
Yeah,
rotates into the late game. So surely it helps you out either way. It's not like
yeah.
it's a player that's completely out of it and not contributing to his
Yeah,
team.
it's
But
it's it's a complete crossfire that you can set up between 3 or 4 different players
yeah,
that makes a trophy becomes unplayable. So that meant that attack you have to force that person out of attic, which means you have to open up attic wall.
you know, the one thing I really want to see is a middle floor defense, kitchen and dining or dining and meeting. How have
I want
you
to
guys
see.
been experimenting with that? How has that played out in your experience?
Well, in my experience, dining and meeting, oh sorry, not dining and meeting, dining and kitchen, sorry, tends to be the one that my teams preferred purely because it was kind of you had a bit more freedom with the way you could play it, and there was also a bit more freedom in the sense of that if someone gets forced out of their spot early on for whatever reason, then you could still adapt around it. Dining and meeting, it's very hard once you've lost that top floor control to still be able to play the site. Or to hold the site, my apologies, not to play the site. But at the same time, dining and meeting tends to create quite an interesting sorry, not kitchen and meeting, not dining and meeting. Kitchen and meeting tends to create like an interesting set of strats that a lot of teams will struggle to play around because it's a very specific way that you need to attack that site.
Yeah. I mean, usually you just see a big tower take followed up by some presence in main lobby, just put some pressure onto the split area. You never really focus on kitchen when it's a kitchen and meeting defense.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's about what type of what is the main goal of the attack. So, for
Yes.
example, if the team is obviously the site is dining, most teams will choose just to go from small tower side and take control like that. But every now and then, you do see a team that opts to push through meeting and try and open up a kitchen wall, and
Yes.
that's a very interesting. a very interesting attack because normally what happens is one of two things. Either a team is prepared for that and they're roaming top floor and they've got the hatch open and they've got their vertical lines, or they're going to be caught completely off guard by the fact that a team has decided to push through there.
And some of the things I look towards in games like these, which don't necessarily mean as much given it is a group stage and between two middle of the pack teams, is just how well these teams can do that which you just described, is goal setting. Because that's one
Yeah.
of the biggest things that puts them ahead of the curve when they face off against higher seeded teams like, say, Nixa, which they might face during the bracket stage, is whether you can go for that goal setting. Because love it or hate it, you can either win a game through getting 5 kills, and that's kind of what G2 has been trying to do in their EUL road.
To little success so far.
Yes, so these teams especially, which might not be as mechanically skilled, what do? Well, you get a bomb down and you win it on time.
Yeah,
I want
well,
to see some
the way,
focus onto that.
yeah, the way I've always seen it with Siege is that yes, your gunfights can absolutely win you the round, but you need something to fall back on when the gunfights aren't working.
Yeah.
Especially you mentioned Nixa earlier. That is a team where you've got a bunch of extremely mechanically skilled players who really they aren't playing with that much strategy. They're just playing with a lot of fragging power, and you need something to fall back on when you aren't winning those gunfights against a team like that. And strategy can really make the difference in a situation like that. But as I'm saying that, we're actually heading our way into this match now for the operator ban phase.
Now, Oregon, what do you expect? Maybe a Hibana, maybe a Thatcher, all
Finka,
traditional picks. I think it would be interesting. These teams
but
might
no.
rely very heavily on that fragging potential of an LMG, but Flores taken off the board. I am weirdly excited by this.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is that was the defenders obviously doing their ban there, and they didn't ban Thatcher, which means Thatcher's,
There he goes.
but the attackers banned Thatcher, which is quite surprising to me. That's one thing I haven't been understanding. That maybe you can explain it to me. Maybe it's something that I'm missing over. But why, if you're on attack, would you ban Thatcher? Because to me, it's kind of a thing of if Thatcher's in play, that makes your first half from the attacking side a lot easier.
I'm the complete wrong person to ask because I believe that it does not matter which side you start on.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. But just quickly talking about the defensive bans, Mira and Valkyrie joining out, an Intel operator and a reconstructive operator taken off the board. So not really too much there. Valkyrie no longer able to throw out those outside camps. So really, what are you losing? But I want to focus on
Yeah.
the attacking side because you're losing the Thatcher. Yes, that's a big one. You can't throw out those EMPs and easily take care of Electro Claws, but you're losing the Flores. Now, if one of these teams were heavily reliant on that during their stratting and their prepping for this game, that is a massive blow. Not just from the Roteros that is gone.
That is a massive blow, especially if a team becomes very dependent on shield play as their strats, as we were saying earlier. Heck, a lot
Azami.
of yeah, and Azami, a lot of very well developed strats will rely around your shield play and your Azami being in play. So Flores is extremely good at removing them because he essentially has Ash utility that you can, but you don't have to have a direct line of sight to it. You don't have to expose yourself to try and get rid of their util. So that's the main advantage of that. And but losing that means that it's means a team that's playing with a lot of Azami and shields still keeps that. But as we can see right now, there's not actually a lot of shields here on the board, just the one from Smoke.
Weirdly, I was expecting, given the Flores ban, I was expecting 2K to maybe ban the smoke. It's something that's picked up steam, especially in the NAL. And I used to do it as an absolute meme ban just to throw off the attackers on Oregon. But unironically, it works. When something like Flores is banned, smoke is such a pivotal operator that lesser teams like these, not that I'm saying they are by any means regarded less, just not as experienced teams tend to heavily rely on. They don't really know what to do when the smoke is gone because the default strategy is extend into blue, extend into elbow. What happens when you don't have that? That is a massive bit of pressure, but doesn't seem to really matter. The main point of ingress is coming from small garage.
Yeah, that's our main point of ingress is the drones are coming through here. It doesn't appear to me that there are actually a lot of roamers on the board, so the side of TKO is actually opted to start on the defense here, and it does look like we're actually going to have quite a slightly more aggressive attack here as they're already trying to find a way onto the site, yet. Not too much util work being done, but I could be wrong about that. There is a Hibana on the board, so all those hatches will be able to go open. But looking into that now, we've just been told in our ears, there might be a game issue at the moment on our side with an audio. We'll just have to see what happens with that. But with that being said, 2K does actually get the first kill onto the mute. That's a shotgun off the board. C4 gone.
Big play because they have the thinker, they can boost back up the buck, and now they have so much pressure onto this main bomb side. Look, Jix, he's waltzing on down white. But on the other side, importantly, all of the pressure from Big Tower has been alleviated. No pressure, no pincer, importantly, is going to come. Sure, they still need to worry about a two-crossed angle from bottom stairs and from white, but one less thing to worry about. The trades are coming out, damage taken from macros, from Synthic, from Strix. These gunfights are happening too quickly, but you still have the thinker. Nope, I'm completely mistaken. You don't have the thinker to rely on.
You don't have the thinker to rely on, and as we say, TKO no longer has synthetic to rely on, but Bakang and Tucker are very reliable. But as Eric's forces his way in, we said he was going to go, we were hoping for him to go big. He's in a 1v2 here. He's going to have to be big. He does find the first one. He's still got a minute left, but he's playing a little bit aggressive. He doesn't have the diffuser, so he's going to have to find a way to do this, but he is going for the kill. He does net it.
Just lets it sing from highway, nails him through with a few bullets. Good way to lock up the round. It seems it all elapsed so quickly. They came down white, they came down main, and everyone just died. There was the one player bunkered down in laundry that I thought was going to make a big impact. The Kaid, I think, with the Orgay 3.
Yeah.
Kind of mute, but still, it was an important position had he gotten a kill.
Yeah, it's an extremely strong position if you don't know what's happening. But as that's being said, I do believe we do have a bit of an audio issue here, so we might just have to have a slight rehost whilst he tries to get sorted out here. We are still trying to hear what's coming out from our side, from the observer, exactly what's happening. We're just trying to figure out if there is audio chat. I know there's a bit of a delay, but if there is any audio going on, please just let us know in the chat just so we can figure out what's happening, or if it's just on our side. But we do believe it is a bit of a game bug at the moment.
Contrary to popular belief, spamming no audio in chat, although sometimes annoying, is actually helpful because it actually does let us know.
Yeah, it does actually let us know what's happening. Even though there's a delay,
annoy the observer, please.
Yeah, let us know what's happening, please. And also let us know, I didn't ask this earlier on in chat, what do you think the scoreline is going to be at the end of this?
Going to win. I usually just say this team is going to win.
Yeah,
I have to go with the social vote of 2K.
Yeah, I feel so with 2K as well. But just the fact that they beat VDrop, that is a big, and that to me that is a big proving thing. Because for me, that team at VDrop, yes, they were known as VDrop back in the day when I was a part of the scene still, but that general roster, yes, the roster has also changed a little bit, but to me, that same roster, that was the roster that we always used to scrim against when we were looking for a good scrim, if we weren't looking to maybe be against one of the Class A teams. Because
what was their old name? That is completely
it was trying to remember their name now. It was, you see, we always refer to them as Bisflix team.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what I refer to it as well.
Yeah, I always just refer to them as Misflix team. I'm just trying to remember what the name was now, but it'll come to me in a second. But
Misflick.
Yeah, that roster, one thing that they were very good at was dismantling strats. They were extremely good at that. And I think it was again what we were saying earlier, if you can't win the gunfights, fall back on the strats, and they were very good at that. And while we're looking at it here, we are looking at a thing of 2K managed to beat them. So that's looking very strong for them. And I think again, the way they walked in there, yes, TKO did manage to get themselves to a two-man advantage, but I think 2K in that first round really did manage to catch them off guard with how aggressive and quick the first push came in. There was a minute left, and Eric's just walking his way through the site.
Yeah, it seemed like too much of the defensive utility was focused on towards elbow, like we pointed out in the smoke. A lot of teams heavily rely on that, and they couldn't really pivot quick enough. And the speed, the pure pressure of it, maybe just falling, having them fall too quickly. One player after another falling. I wanted to point out the Cade in laundry, such a pivotal position. You need a player situated there, especially when an attack is coming from white.
Yeah, it's not that strong of a position in the sense of that what you can do with it if they know you're there, because it's kind of your.
It is what happens when it's not there.
Yeah, when that one player doesn't check that corner, when he's busy focused on someone who's standing behind the wall there or is in a gunfight, that person is in the perfect position to absolutely capitalize and get an easy 3K when the players aren't checking his corner. because that's very much a spot where everyone has your back turned to you unless they specifically know you're sitting in there.
So I just want to give a quick update because I don't think we actually mentioned what's happening. Can I have a quick restart from the observer? It seems there was an audio issue with the game.
Yeah. Apologies about that, people. It is Siege. We do not have control over what happens in Siege. It's unfortunately just a reality of how the game is at times. Looking
It
at
is
you,
big sad.
Yubi.
Well, you got to throw shade like that.
I'm a show to throw shade all day. I've had to deal with these types of bugs every single day when I was still in the scene. But it does seem that there is now audio again as the game has been started up, so we're just waiting to have everyone back in the lobby. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with us for a little. It's just a tiny bit long.
It's just a tiny bit. Chat, I know you like this. Spam 1 in chat if you actually do love our commentary.
Oh,
I'm
they're
not going
gonna
to tell
spam.
you anything to spam when you don't love it. Just spam 1.
You can't do that in our scene. You know they're gonna spam every number but one now, just to troll us.
This is true. This is true.
You didn't think this through, Jacques.
I did not know. It is my first cast in roughly about 3 months. I'm sorry.
But that being said, looking into whilst we're just waiting for the players to get back into the lobby here, we can't actually entirely see what's going on yet because we are still waiting for everything to be booted up again. But one thing to think about for that round, yes, 2K, I think they did manage to catch TKO off by surprise, very much, in the way that they just pushed their way in. I'm curious if that's their strategy for this game. Are they going to keep trying this aggressive early rounds, or are TKO going to manage to push them back into the 20-second meta?
Um, well, the big problem a lot of the time is one team needs to be the pacemaker and one team
Yeah.
needs to react. Usually, the attackers kind of determine the pace, but equally, the defenders determine the way the attackers have to react.
Yeah.
It's the defensive team's first step to establish what are we going to do with the site given to us. Then it is up to the attackers to react to what they have set up. But a lot of the time when an attacking team, they just decide, okay, screw it, let's rush this. What you need as a defensive team is, one, to know that there is the possibility of this happening. Two, react accordingly. 2 steps, easy peasy. One, that's done now. 1 round done, surely you know this team is going to come with a quick and abrasive strategy. Then, be ready for it. Strat for it. Maybe put one player with a shotgun at the ready. Maybe we can't pick a Valkyrie because that's been banned out, but some intel. Surely you prep for this and you line them up for this. I don't think it'd be as effective going forward, given especially this break time. Maybe if they've had time to talk to each other, say, hey, we weren't doing this right, we weren't doing that right. I'm pretty sure it should change.
Yeah. One thing, as you said, with that whole pacemaking thing, the way I've always seen it is the defenders with the setup determines what pace the attackers can take.
Yeah.
If you're not setting up with ridiculous amounts of shield, you're basically inviting the attackers or with a lot of roaming presence on the map, you are inviting the attackers to be right on top of you right from the beginning, as we saw with 2K there. So TKO are really going to have to figure out how can they, maybe in their little discussions here, what can they do to stop that? Maybe it's going to have to be introducing a roamer that they didn't have before. Maybe it's going to have to be introducing some Vulcan canisters on the stairs just to slow them down. Maybe it's going to have to be even running more shields or running the Azami to get that cover out and slow the initial attack down.
Why do you have to do us such a disservice?
I'm sorry, man.
Why would you advocate for a shield strategy? It's boring. We want gunplay.
I know. I'm sorry, man, but it's just been how I've been about it since the beginning of when I got into the scene.
Yeah, I mean, your team was exploiting it quite a bit.
We exploited it to hell. I think one of the most incredible strats we ever made was, I think it was 5 or 6 shields sitting on the top of Cafe. You just could not.
No, I remember this. Yeah, okay, so just for anyone that doesn't know, Cafe Dostoevsky, top floor. You guys had 1 shielded pixel, one on one wall which was destroyed into bathroom, one on one wall which was destroyed into freezer. You had, if I'm not mistaken, the very old
it was the most nightmare strat to try and attack if you were
it is a
attacker.
Giga Chad strat though. It's just like, no, we don't need this yet. Like
It'll
we
just
have a
wait,
shield,
we'll
but
wait.
like just wait a bit.
Yeah, and the problem is every time you try to peek that shield to blow it up, you've got either drop shot or Vaughn or Sandals or Ergo or Kaiko peeking back at you.
Oh no. Someone spam
But yeah,
hypers in chat.
but with us going back into that now, we are actually looking at we're loading back in. I'm not quite sure what's happened. There's a bit of a pause or something going on here. Oh no, never
There we
mind.
go.
The game
No,
is
no, no.
just doing Ubisoft.
No, this is
Please.
one of those when you're in a casual game, someone types out takealot.com/SSD. Please
Yes.
stop doing it. It's not funny. My tiny round for the day. Please stop doing that.
I don't know. It's kind of funny to me when I'm the one typing it.
No, but everyone does it every single time. It's not new. Think of new jokes.
We'll have to think of some new ones. Maybe Twitch chat can think of some good ones for that. Well, as we say that, TKO, they thought to go to the top floor, so maybe they didn't feel confident in their bottom floor. Maybe they said, okay, we need some time to figure out what we can do to stop TK from just pushing their way in here. They have got the Cade reinforcing this wall here. Yes, that Cade charge can be shot from below, but it is a lot more difficult to deal with. Same with this one that's sitting there. It's going to help a lot with slowing TK, with slowing 2K, not TK, my apologies. It's going to help with slowing 2K down and maybe let TKO push them into that 20-second meta that they've been practicing.
I'm quite sad they didn't experiment a bit with the Artilla Electro Claw placements. We have seen a lot of innovation with those, especially in South Africa. One right outside there where the Yana was nading, you would be surprised how effectively outside Artilla Electro Claws work. Go for it. Watch some old VODs and see how players have been experimenting with this very wall. That being said, it's open. How do you react? Smoke.
It's open.
He's up in
It's
attic.
open. He's up in the attic here, and this is what we're saying a lot of players were trying to do now. Yes, TKO got the wall open, but they still haven't got the control they need. They need to try and clear the smoke out. But as we said, that the nade does himself through, but it does get him killed. Smoke still holding the position here. TKO are going to have to find a way to force him out of the attic. That is the pivotal position in the strat that is going to make it they cannot do anything. As we see the Jaeger slowly sneaking his way here. He might be able to do something, but the Nomad does seem slightly weary that someone could be coming to the flank here.
Surely there's an air jab placed. Surely there has to be an air jab placed. I would not worry about the Jaeger too much just yet, as Erix gets a kill from Trophy. And on the flank, they take care of him. Now, it's Poison ready for a take onto site. All eyes are on these attackers, lining up in a row, taking down player after player. Bokang left in kids to dismantle somewhat of this attack. One player has fallen towards the bedroom side, but another falling on the defensive side. An air jab to follow. Surely that poses a bit of cover as the plant is coming down. Tucker finds one. How do you dismantle this now? The diffuser is down. One player in the attic, one beside the bed frame. Dancing on through these crossfires, just spraying on through. 30 ammo in that MP5K just is not enough. They shut him down and they take another round.
Well, we were saying a little bit of how TKO would look like they were a little bit effective at slowing down 2K, and that did work initially, especially when that Smoke managed to get that swing and get the all-important kill onto the Finker there. Nate being gone and holding that position, but it didn't remain. We were talking at the pregame how a lot of teams will have to open up that attic wall, and that's exactly what we saw. And with that, it didn't matter the fact that they lost that time and their player there, TKO just fell apart.
The strange thing to me is how do I put this into words? Let me start with the counterpart. A lot of EU teams, of what I've seen at least, when an attacking team makes quick work of entering into a site, the defensive team opts to play very passively in reaction there too. What do I mean with this? Someone like the Jaeger, who is posted up below. He knows his value is higher being alive and not putting pressure than being dead and maybe going 50-50 on a gunfight, doing some damage to the attacker. Why do you take that gunfight so early?
Well, sometimes it just comes down to the attackers are about to execute, and you need to find a way to stop them from executing. A roam, that's the tricky part about being a roamer. You need to kind of know when is the time to take a big risk that you wouldn't normally take. And I think
Yes.
Jaeger did try to time it right there. Maybe he could have left it a little bit longer, but it just comes down to you need to know when is the time to be really aggressive to try and stop them from collapsing onto the site. Because there's always that risk of you being too passive as a roamer and then just being absolutely not in a position to do anything, and you're in a retake position 1v4 in a 2v5 retake situation because you were too hesitant to execute.
It's a very, very valid point. I don't really have anything to react to it, but to me, at times, it feels like, especially with SSA plays, games, teams are a bit quick on the trigger, if you want to point it that way. But hey, it's worked for 2K.
Yeah, it worked for 2K. It's as if they were just a tiny bit too quick to pull the trigger. They're not patient enough. But again, it's that fear of being too patient and then suddenly missing out on a huge opportunity. But with that being said, there is actually, again, the roaming presence here of the Jaeger. We didn't actually have this roaming presence the first time that TKO were down in the basement.
Gemini didn't spot him out, and the drone didn't pass into kids. Finally, it drones him out, and they know of his presence, but it's a bit too late, because the attackers have already fallen back. They assumed it had been droned with the first pass. The second pass comes, and there's no one to follow up.
I like the fact that he barricaded that up again. That's something we don't see a lot of teams doing. And the reason why you would barricade that up is that for that mute there, it makes it really easy to know what's happening there, because it's simple. As long as he doesn't hear a barricade being destroyed, he knows he's safe.
Do they know he's even fallen back? It doesn't seem so. The Finker was in kids clearing it out 10 seconds ago. It seems finally they've established there's not anyone playing here. Mirage seeming to be the first point of contest as a nade comes sailing on through. His position is wary, whips the shotgun, finds one, can't do a second, but that is enough to stop them for now.
That has done huge work. The nades are coming through, and he's holding that position. But as we say, 2K are actually forcing the way through the front of the site here. It's all down to this cave to try and stop them back. He has shut down Eric's, locked him down. Smoke canisters coming out just to delay some time. TKO are going to have to try and find a way in here. They haven't got the control they need yet. They're still sitting a 4v4 here with 40 seconds left. 2K need to figure out what they're going to do here. There is still the Jaeger sitting in the freezer holding the position. They do still have strong positioning here to hold them. And it does look like 2K are going for a bit of a rotate here. But as I say that, Smoke guns down Velo.
I don't want to make a complete blind assumption, but I think, yes, they had cams towards top attic. They knew no one was coming there from there earlier because they literally didn't put anyone on the defense of top attic. Now, the attack has completely pivoted, and they know the camera feeds the info and the guns find the kills. A textbook dismantling of a rush strategy. That is how you answer back.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to find a way to slow it down. They chose with the roamer. This is bad on 2K's side. My apologies, not TK. 2K, I need to get that in my head. 2K didn't figure out what happened to him after he destroyed the drone. They assumed he was still roaming. He just went straight back to site. They should have had a drone try to figure out where he was instead of wasting that time. So instead what happened is they were sitting with a minute left and they were just trying to pile into the site from one direction because of that.
Do you bring that back towards a kind of unsureness with their goal setting, or whether they were truly just kind of stressed for time?
I think it was a combination of being stressed for time and a lack of communication. It stems to the beginning. There was a lack of communication with the drone work as to figure out what happened with that Jaeger. They were still trying to face check that Jaeger, trying to figure out where he was. When he was back on site, he'd already gone downstairs, barricaded the door, moved his way past the mute all the way onto the site. And then after that, they still didn't drone out that the mute was sitting at the bottom of the stairs with a shotgun. They knew there was something happening there, but they weren't entirely sure what. And then because of those mistakes, that made them press for time. And because of that, it was bad management from them, and hence they got themselves into a bit of a situation where they wish they didn't want to be in.
This is purely a yes or a no question. Are you a fan of an Oryx?
I'm always a fan.
Not the animal, the operator.
I am always a fan of Kool-Aid Man.
Okay, so he is left in top attic for the time being. No, okay. The Maverick is there to contest. Are they going to drone this out? Countless time after time, we have seen teams blindly repel into top attic because they just assume it's going to be clear. There's a drone, and he doesn't spawn anything. A second to follow, but it's been mismanaged. Is he just going to risk it? It seems he's going to.
But the Oryx doesn't seem to be 100% aware. There is the crossfire coming out, and there it is. Oryx does die. He has managed to waste a couple, well, about half a minute there, but still, that might not have been enough. It was a bit of a risky position to put yourself in there because there isn't really anywhere you can go once you get caught out.
Just
he hasn't really had the main...
shifting towards the other side of the map. The wall is open. There's a player on repel, and there's pressure from down below. Macros, though, has alleviated that. Now the attackers, how much do they have to work with? They're slowly opening up the attic wall, and they've got pressure from bedroom. Is that enough to enact a pincer, or is that def down below towards Macros really going to bite them in the butt?
Look, 2K they've got the territory they need right now in terms of pre-execute, and they've got the openings that they need. Now they just need to find that one or two crucial picks on the site and force players out of position. They cleared out the attic, which is good. So they've got a way in there as the Iana is actually scoping out now, and they just need to see spot synthetic there in the corner. I don't think the Iana drone actually spotted them. Yes, they are aware though. As Ace is sitting there, he is aware. They just need to find a way to get Ace into the site now. So it's just going to be one or two crucial picks here. Eric's does look like he's going to be the one leading the charge in here, trying to find something he can do here. But let's not forget, Mozzie is still on the roam. What can he do?
Leave some of the Vulcan canisters are still burning, and they still have another smoke canister left in pocket. At the very least, they can deny and delay for about 20 more seconds. That first kill is a big one. Macros down below is still ever present. They don't know of his position. That forces Eric's to make a move onto the site, because why wait when you can just make a move? He finds one kill, and Synthetic is down, a breath away from death. Finds one, sprays onto the second, knows there's one in top white, but he can't finalize the kill. Bukong might come in clutch, spraying on through, just barely misses his head. Makes a payment,
lot to play
flashes it out. Might prove a worthy investment. Trying to find the kill. 15 seconds, he doesn't have the diffuser. He needs to go for this kill. Dances on into the crosshair, and he finds a TKO, matching the score sheet. That is how you bring it back.
Bukong, I say it's between Bukong and Smoke who won that round there for TKO. Bukong first hit the great shot through to the attic to slow down their attack, which means that Eric's was effectively pushing the site on his own from that side. And Smoke just absolutely, I'm not quite sure who it was that he killed, but he can kill another player, 2K, who was pushing. I believe it was actually Jigsaw on the Ace, who he managed to kill when he tried to hop in, which meant the diffuser was not in play, and it came down to fragging, in which Bukong was able to clean up for his team. But you cannot rely on Bukong to clean up time and time again all the players of TKO. But who knows, maybe you can. For all we know, they've all got the gunning pants on today, you know?
Citizen 2.0 question mark, hauling his entire team across the line.
Good point, kicking them, dragging them, kicking and screaming. Not kicking them, dragging, but yeah. You can't, I don't think a team can really rely on that, but...
No, they can't.
With all that being said and done, TKO have actually managed to even themselves out on the scoreboard as a result of that. Very good plays, very good teamwork between the two of them, good positioning with that.
Are you happy this round? 2 shields?
I'm very happy with the fact that they are playing up here in Small Tower. This is a position.
Are you happy with what we just saw in the hands of Viella?
I am very happy with what I've seen here with the shotgun as well.
Why? Why?
It's been a long time since I've seen something like this, and I'm loving it.
Okay, so now for anyone that doesn't know, the FO12 on Ella, it's a very capable gun, but sometimes it's a bit inconsistent. Playing on the top of Small Tower, it's a good position to find yourself, but time after time, 2K has kind of come for this odd clear. They don't really go for the linear attacks. They go from strange angles, strange avenues, try to catch TKO off guard. Will that happen again? The Iana droning out down below. Velo's already made his way into split, made his way into meeting.
Remember earlier when I was saying that some teams like to do this kitchen attack because it catches teams off guard? Well, this is exactly what 2K is going for here. That Ace, I do believe, is already attempting to get the wall open, or doing his little bit of drone work there to figure out what he can do to get that wall open.
Yeah, now, importantly, there is a mute jammer on the wall, and that's one of the hardest areas to clear out. A mute jammer, it's gone.
It's gone. The mute jammer is gone, the wall is going open. Now, suddenly, TKO have a problem. They've only got 2 players here, as we see the one might reposition themselves in a position to actually stop them from entering the site. One might cannot really deny that plant without swinging straight through into the open, and neither can the player who's sitting there in security. But with that being said, Tucker does get the first kill into Jinx. That is the ace gone, but his job has been done. But Wamai finds a tight angle, killing Eric's. Even though 2K have done well to get the wall open, they haven't got any of the kills that they need to be able to take the territory here, as Mute does look like he's rotating his way around to try some sneaky behavior here.
Oh, so scary. Vela, he knows he needs to focus towards Attic because, yes, there's a player, but Macros is lurking, makes a few footsteps. The Finker, the Surcharge, gonna give away his position with the audio cue, and that is a perfect kill to find, as it seems Relapse sadly lagged out. So
We've lost
then,
Relapse.
I was gonna try and make a joke with that, but I
Yeah.
thought it would be mute.
Well, was it an Astro-related joke?
Yes, of course.
It's got to be. If it's an internet joke, it's got to be related to Astro. But with that being said, it is quite interesting to see. We were saying earlier, 2K, as we just saw TK do, a lot of teams like to push from that back. It creates an opening that a lot of teams aren't prepared for. But TKO clearly were prepared for the adaptation that they needed to do. Maybe it was just Macros swinging quite aggressively with the 1-eye and getting that crucial pick onto Eric's that they needed. But they handled it well. They weren't scared.
Yeah, and Bokang, we were saying maybe his team is relying too much on him. Well, Synthetic and Tucker are showing up. 5 kills and 6 kills respectively. It feels to me at least TKO is quite coherent, at least in the second half of their defense.
Oh, yeah. No, it looks like a completely different team to what we saw in that first round. They weren't dismantled that easily, and they didn't just fall apart the moment that the pressure from 2K came onto them. With that all being said and done now, with 3 split, realistically for Oregon, you are expecting a 3-3 split or a 3-2 or 4-2 split for the defenders. 2K, they really want to try and get that 3-3 split if possible.
Yes. And I wouldn't say the bans make it sway too much to one side or the other, but it feels to me at least the attackers have a bit more than the defenders have to play with. The Mirror and the Valkyrie being gone is kind of a hit, but it's not instrumental.
Yeah, you can't even blame it on Flores and Thatcher being gone, because it's not like the shield meta has been very prevalent here. It's it's more been gunfights. That's what we've been seeing, and it's more been gunfights that have been lost.
Which honestly, if I'm TKO, or rather if I'm 2K and I go 42 at the half, I think they have something cooking with the Flores ban. I think when they head to their defense, they're going to rely heavily on those shields and those armies.
Oh, I would definitely rely on those shields and these armies. It would be exactly what I've been hoping for. Whilst they'll probably be discussing right now exactly what they can do with it going into their defender half. But at the same time, they're also looking now, what can they do to TKO? They don't know where TKO is going back down to the laundry. This they will know. This they'll have in their heads. They'll know this is where TKO is on their way to. So they're already discussing what did they do well the first time they attacked laundry? What did they do wrong the second time? And what can they do now?
Yeah. It's a simple equation, quite honestly. I mean, for TK, your K infatuation has passed on to me. 2K and TKO. It's confusing because there are 2Ks and there's a team named 2K. I digress. Let's forget about that. It seems, sadly, we do need a rehost. One of the teams is struggling to get their player back in, so you're going to be seeing us for a bit longer.
Bit unfortunate that that's the case. What is it with rehosts? And well, I can tell you what it is with rehosts, but I'm not going to mention the name. You already critiqued me earlier for saying it. Ubisoft.
Oh well.
But that will be being said and done. TKO are impressing me a little bit. I didn't really know what to expect from them. I knew from 2K to expect some stiff competition, being, as we said, that they earlier on with the as we said earlier on with the position of them actually having beaten V-Drop. But TKO were the one that was surprising me a little bit, and I'm glad that they're surprising me. I wanted to see some stiff competition going into these groups, and I'm very happy that we're seeing that now.
Do you think I always feel so scared almost when I say this because I feel like to a certain degree I curse it. Do you think this is the time for middle pack teams to shine? In
Uh,
my eyes, it's better than ever. The old
well, right.
guards, the old heads have either disbanded, left, whatever it may be. It feels like from the ashes, at least one or two true new greats will rise.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, as you said, the old guard are gone. And what I think is critical about the players in that, or the new teams at the moment, especially if you look at our top team, I'm going to say Nixa is my top team. It's
Yeah.
not because I'm still being for drop shot. It's just purely I feel that that
No,
is
I,
the top
I
team at
think
the
that is
moment.
unanimous.
And Figure said earlier, they don't scrim, they don't practice. They're going off of basic strats, very basic strats that everyone knows, and gunplay. So now is the time for teams that are very much wanting to move themselves up in what we call the rankings of South Africa and move themselves into a position where they're challenging to be the top teams, where just having very good sets of strats can make the difference between you being extremely good and not competitive.
Yeah. I mean, I would
You can
argue
really, yeah,
an incredibly skilled mechanically team is level footed with a middle pack team who has stratted quite hard.
yeah, exactly. If you learn even if you're not stratting that hard in terms of making your own strats, if you're just watching what the other teams are doing,
Yeah.
players are repetitive. Players will tend to do the same thing over and over again. They'll find what works for them and they will do it. For example, if you see something that you see Dropshot is doing a lot, figure out what he's doing and figure out how you can shut him down before he even makes his way onto the site. Bam.
It feels to me like almost every single South African team is what X Empire was. Is and I always bring it back to is it no it's consulate. It's consulate. I'm very confused.
Mm.
Is no matter the site, no matter the way the defensive team is set up when X Empire was on the attack, they would enter from master. Is it master? The east side offices. No
East
matter
side
what,
officers. Yeah.
players are very behavioristic, whether it's on purpose or completely subconscious.
It's a
Sometimes they
subconscious
just
thing.
do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It is a subconscious thing. And the reality of it is that because you've got this subconscious thing going on, it means that teams that if you aren't as mechanically skilled, but you spend time watching what the other teams do and learning how the players position themselves, especially when they're in a tough situation, they will fall back on what they know best in their head and they will go into the positions where they feel most comfortable in. And if you can counter strat that properly, you can really make a big difference. That's as well why I feel very confident in Levitate as a team this tournament. Not just
Yeah.
because they got new players in the side of like James joining the team. They've got Sully there, and if I know Sully as well as I think I do, I don't know him that personally well, but I know from watching his team play, he will when they get to the big games, he will have watched their previous matches, and he will have let his team know exactly where and who are doing what, and found a way just to force his players into directing them just towards where drop shot is going to be, or say Eric's is going to be, or say whoever's going to be, and that can make the difference. If you can't win them mechanically, you can win it with the brain.
Yeah.
And if you put both together, that's when you go into another level.
I mean, we have a lot of big talk on social media. I will not point any fingers in fear of hate threats, but we have a lot of big talk from people. This is a
Yeah,
complete generalization. But are they proven? Are they fair in their assumptions? Are they valid in their braggadociousness? We don't know
yeah,
yet. It's been, heck, what, 6 months almost since the last big tournament? We've had
yeah.
the SSA R6 League in the meantime, but really, it's been quite a while since teams have been able to show their prowess and to be able to earn gloating rights.
Look, yeah, no, it's been a long time since we had a properly big tournament, and that's why I'm saying that when you've got a team like Nixa who aren't really going for strats and they're purely playing off their mechanics. This is really the chance for other teams to really set themselves apart and really build a proper name for themselves.
So then,
Especially, yeah.
hmm?
But with that
Are
being
we
said,
ready to head into the game? Yes, we
yeah,
are. Both teams have confirmed. Oregon, we're back. You don't have to listen to our rambling for much longer. We are back into the game.
yeah. Jocko, just excuse me for 1 second. I'm just fighting off a cat here that's determined to sit on my screen. Uh,
Okay. While we still have time to fill, my girlfriend has been adamant about getting a cat. Like, she does not
oh,
want to let up on it. And I'm like, fine. I'm fine. I'm fine with cats. I like cats. But sometimes cats are just annoying, man.
yeah, oh, they're annoying. This one, for example, this cat loves to sit on my mouse pad, and then when I go to sleep, it will start putting its nails into my mouse pad and staring at me as I wake up and
Oh,
shout at it for destroying my mouse pad.
he knows what he's doing. He
He
knows.
knows what he's doing. He knows. He stares at me. He knows it's annoying me.
Well, it's better than the stinky dog. I'll give it that.
Yeah. But with that being said and done, we are going into the next round here. It should be the last attacking round for 2K. Has this break been enough for them to discuss what to do? They have got relapse back in. Hopefully we won't have any more disconnects. Hopefully I don't cast a curse it.
Well done. Well done, Justin.
Ah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Truly, we applaud you. I feel like one of those backtracks on YouTube for the complete incels that just want to hear some praise in their life. If you've been on that side of YouTube, you know what I'm talking about.
I have actually never been on that side of YouTube, but I'm very curious
It's like
now.
it's so you know like static noise. So there's
Yeah.
this genre of static noise of just complete praise of just this narrator being like, "Well done, we're so proud of you. Thank you for your achievements."
I am scared. I don't want to be on that side of YouTube. How bad does it have to go for you to end up on that side of YouTube?
Quite a bit, but how bad does it have to be for Smoke to reinforce off and him to be the only player now contesting an elbow? Previously, they've known, okay, 2K, they only attack from white stairs and from main. They've pivoted. And Smoke is the only player facing down the barrel.
He's going to have to
TKO.
hold this out for his team here, as TKO do look like they've actually changed it up and they really want to do a push from this side here. Synthetic is playing here. He's going to be playing aggressive to the door here, but he doesn't have a lot of ADSs. He's going to be relying on his magnets to stop the nades from taking him out. But as long as he can play in that position, he's sitting gold and he's keeping a good crossfire with Smoke. Smoke's canisters will run out eventually. And eventually Wamai is going to have to deal with people shoving their way down that staircase, and there won't be much he can do. So he's got to just play to survive here. And he knows that as the push does look like it's starting to come down the stairs there, they are fully aware that there's no one actually watching it. As I say that, the first kill for 2K does come out, and they do manage to find Bakong, being him having been instrumental in winning that top 4 defense for his team. Synthetic is aware that someone is there, but there's not much he can do. If he pushes too far in one direction, he will be caught in a pretty serious crossfire.
Yeah, Synthetic is the one to look out for here, because as soon as those smoke canisters fade, he will be contested. He is facing pressure from Blue and from Harry Potter. Angle after angle, bullet after bullet, singing through from an LMG and an even higher capacity weapon. What can you do? Well, importantly, the smoke's reinforcing.
Yeah, Smoke is reinforced. I'm not quite sure why Wamai decided to push into Blue there. Not quite the smartest decision. We used to call that Shaiko corner when back in my comp days, and the reason we did was because one, Shaiko plays that corner extremely well. But what he does there is he doesn't let the pressure get to him. He just sits there all day until they're right on top of him. And unfortunately for the Wamai, he wasn't able to do that. He cracked a little bit under the pressure, and now 2K have forced themselves into the pillar, and they're taking all the control they need on that side of the map. Plant is going
gets
down.
ripped. Okay, so importantly, the Cade had a C4 in pocket, but he can't use it anymore. So they need to swing for these gunfights. They know the diffuser is going down, and they don't have any smoke canisters to answer back. Left with an SMG-11, he downs one.
He's gonna
It feels like a complete throwback.
Yeah, he's gonna have to find something to do here. He does make another rotate for himself, but Jinx does hold the crossfire. Unfortunately, when you're sitting in that freezer, there's no way out. And with that means it's now a 3-3 scoreboard going into 2K defender half, sorry. We were saying earlier that we were expecting them to pull out a lot of the shield play and a lot of the 20-second meta. I want to see what they do now.
I know you're caught up in the heat of the moment, but please mute. Why did you make it vaultable and not crouchable?
Oh,
He
yeah.
physically could not look at the Hibana. When you are vaulting through, your point of view, your area where you can actually look to is limited by, I'd say, like a 70-degree angle. He physically could not look at the Hibana.
Oh, no, he physically couldn't look at her, but it's kind of... I think it's just a spur of the moment type of thing,
Yeah.
you know? But with that being said, 2K have actually opted to go to the top floor. We were saying we were expecting a lot of shields out of them. We were wrong, there's not a single shield.
I don't know why there's not an
Laser
Azami.
gates, though.
Why
Yeah,
has
there's
there
no
not
Azami.
been an Azami? I'm saddened.
I think maybe it's that the teams aren't really 100% comfortable with her yet.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to figure out how you can use her. I think one interesting way to use her was what I actually saw. Unfortunately, it was a G2 game, which means
Hey,
that they did lose the game. But
LML.
yeah, it was Alamau and Villa. It was very interesting to watch. The way that the moment the cover would get blown up, he would just instantly replace it.
Yeah.
It's,
Either
there's
replace it or
nothing-
just swing.
Yeah, when you're trying to clear out utility and force your way in, there is nothing more annoying than that. But as we say, that 2K does get aggressive here. Eric's is extremely aggressive, but he doesn't manage to net a pick here. But it does look like TKO are taking it a little bit cautious here.
It's
They don't
a
want to be...
bit of a shake-up, maybe too early to call, but they seem precautious.
Yeah, they seem a lot more slow-paced than what we saw out of 2K on their attacking half. As I say, that Bokang, he's actually... We were saying earlier, a lot of players will tend to swing that without throwing it out. But there does come a drone, and he is fully aware that Velo is on the staircase. It does look like TKO. They're doing this a little bit more slow and methodically than what we've seen on 2K. Instead of being more aggressive, they're doing this slow and trying to set up pinches.
Yeah, and there are only really 2 points of contention from Velo and the Malusia of Eric's. Oh, am I completely mistaken? Has the bandit just waltzed on up to top floor? I believe that's what I saw on my screen. Indeed, it is. Oh, I am so sorry, chat. It's been 3 months of not casting. I am rusty. I thought it was a bottom floor defense. Okay, completely shake it up. Throw it back. Okay, you've got 2 roamers in the Malusian Jaeger, not the 2 first points of contention. I digress. The push is coming from attic, from master bedroom, and from the window. This is what we like to see.
Yeah, this is what I'd like to see. I've been wanting to see that how teams can really set up those crossfires. I've still been wanting to see a lot more of the what you call it, the what I've referred to as the Apex styles. They were really the first region to solidify it. As Eric does find the first kill for his team, with Vela finding the second. TKO, yes, they have got that attic wall open, but they haven't got any of the territory they need yet. They haven't got the main. Oh, they have got the main wall open. My apologies, but we haven't seen any of those LATAM style attacks yet. Oh, sorry, Apex style attacks yet.
You know, that's what I love to see. Give them a false sense of security. Have them open up a tad bit of the main wall. Go for the flank. Shut them down. Falling by the wayside. 2K, after the first round, looked unstoppable. It seems like that might be coming back. They are firing shot after shot, and it might even be a flawless.
You jinxed the flawless, but with that being said, Jinx does close it out for his team. Kanye jinxing the flawless here for the side of 2K, but quite a dominant round from them. TKO obviously opting to go for a more methodic take, as we could see. They were more slow and methodic, and they were trying to maybe set up pinches with their players, trying to find those roamers and pinch them and not let them return to the site, but it didn't really work. We do see a blitz coming out now, so maybe TKO has said, screw it, let's go aggressive.
What I really love from 2K, at the very least, we didn't really say where the Jaeger got his first kill, but for the Malusi at least, was they aren't proactive in their roam, which kind of seems contrarian. You would expect, surely a roamer needs to make his presence felt, get some kills, whatever that may be, but no. Sometimes the most effective thing you can do is sit back and wait for a twitch to just check the wrong corner.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes the most effective thing you can do is go hide in a corner that they would never expect you to be in. It works extremely well, sometimes. Other times it would get you killed. But as we saw there with Jaeger, he just played extremely patient on his roam, and he would get a kill, and then he would disappear again. And he came back, got another kill, and just instantly disappeared again.
Just no, you seeing what I'm seeing?
I am seeing. I'm not sure what.
Lion finger blitz.
I'm seeing what you're seeing now. So TKO.
The yellow YOLO.
Yeah, we saw them be a lot more.
I've coined that now.
methodical.
Sorry.
Yeah. We saw them very methodical in the first round. So pure aggression from them this round. Looks to be the case. It's going to be pure aggression. Blitz is going to be the first one to try and find his way in here, but Relapse is playing.
Why is he alone? Do not put a Blitz alone. He cannot cover himself. He is not a Montaigne. Okay, I won't shout at them too much. They've invested a blitz towards blue. Maybe it is purely a distraction. Maybe this is a bait strategy. They see, okay, there's a blitz in blue. Let's just avoid this rush. Throw all of your smoke canisters at him, delay a rush for as long as possible, and then just push from the other side of the map. Maybe they're outbraining even me, but why are you putting a blitz alone?
Eric's is fully aware that there is a player from TKO here, but the finger doesn't seem to be on the push. Maybe they both are aware of each other's somewhat positions, but they don't want to get. As I say, the finger just moved past.
They just wait.
Unaware.
And they just wait. Yeah.
Getting an all-important kill. Velo contesting here. He's trying to find what they can do. There's a minute and 40 seconds left. Yes, the line scans are coming out, but TKO have lost two of those incredibly important players that they needed. Finker being gone, that's the nades gone, that you've gone 6 gone. Big Kong does manage to find a kill. You get a little bit back for his team here, but and Macro's finding it out, beating out the scoreboard. And Lion, he swings but doesn't catch Velo. Velo ready for it.
EED has spotted out the Jaeger. They know he's there. Maybe they're taking a page out of 2K's book. They're just waiting because they know the Jaeger can't sit there forever. Yes, he has the diffuser, but at some point he needs to cave to the Blitz's presence. That being said, got a minute left. Truly, the second phase of this round now has started. The push is coming down white stairs. Relapse on the SMG-11 has one of the worst guns to try and contest this angle. The recoil on that thing, it is going to kick like a horse.
Let's not forget, he's only got one smoke canister left, so this blitz is going to be a nightmare now in these last 40 seconds. Macros, there is still a C4 somewhere that this blitz has to try and find. I do believe it's actually on the door frame, so it's going to make it life very difficult for him to push through. Yeah, it's sitting there next to the door frame, which means that that blitz is going to have to find a way past Strix before he can blow that C4 up, or he's instantly dead. This last smoke canister has been gone. There's only 20 seconds left. That means the C4's, the C4 has gone, I believe.
The crossfire is their only hope. As the nade goes through and the blitz just pistol whips him. Okay.
Oh, that is... The C4, the blitz pushed through the smoke. The C4 didn't work. The nade came through. And Cade was blind. There was no other way to put it. He was seeing Jesus.
Okay, then. So, at least another round for TKO on the board. They're equalizing it out. That's what we love to see. Strangely for me, okay, what do you think of the Thunderbird before I start talking too much here?
My problem with Thunderbird is that she relies on your players. Her whole utility is obviously key, but it relies on your players surviving gunfights and having, say, lost some damage. Otherwise, her utility is effectively useless. She's just a gun. But this is top tier Siege. It's not very often that a player comes out of a gunfight with only 5 HP left. Yes, it does happen, but it's very situational as to what they can do after that and if Thunderbird is going to come into play. And to me, it feels like you could have invested that utility somewhere else and let the player on 5 HP just change the way they position themselves.
Now, I don't know whether this is because I'm a silver or because I just survive my gunfights and I'm just better than everyone else, but health go brr.
Health go brr, as you say. Like, yeah, she's got her place. But to me, it still feels very much like you could have just changed the utility. But again, we have the Blitz pushing on his own here.
Why? No, okay. I don't want to say anything too bad because the Blitz survived last time and he was instrumental in the late phase of that game. But during the first stage of a game, leaving a Blitz alone is the worst decision you can possibly make. He has a P12 and a shield that doesn't even cover his full body. If they just all of them, all 5, right now, run out into elbow, they will get a free kill.
Yeah, I really don't know, but the thing is, I really just think he's there as diversion, but it doesn't look like it's working as Eric's is fully aware of the pink position, and he is actually, but he's opting just to rotate back into Laundry. He's decided he's not going to risk his life there as Velo does find the first kill, but the Blitz has actually rotated and finds Tucker. All important kill there. Sorry, not Tucker, I mean Velo. My apologies, chat. But with that being said, that's what we said earlier, where the teams weren't droning properly to figure out where roamers went. They're still thinking there's a roamer upstairs. They're losing time on this. They've got a blitz. They should already be pushing their way into the site, but instead they're still trying to figure out if there's a roamer running around.
I mean, sometimes a blitz is more valuable during the late stage of a game. We saw that the very last round. Sorry. I mean, the very bad decision of drinking sparkling water during a broadcast. That's not going too well.
No.
Okay, but the Blitz has made his way down white, and now he can just post his face on the angle, and they don't have to worry about it anymore. Obviously not as strong as a Montaigne, but hey, you have got backup, and you've got Sam cams. Now, the roof on this basement isn't soft, but still very useful.
Yeah, it is. It's not a soft roof, as you said, but that hatch being open makes life a little bit difficult for the defenders and for the attackers, because either one of them can really use that to capitalize. But with the Blitz being positioned here, he's just giving intel now. He can see there is Cade, but he's taking quite a bit of damage, but 2 with the finger boost just healing him back up. That means now 2 smoke canisters have gone out. They've got 30 seconds left. That smoke can keep them out, but that Blitz is just waiting for his opportunity to run his way in there and find a way in. I don't think there's anything to stop him. Yeah, there's no C4 there. So he's just going to try and rush his way past through. That's past it, and that's the last smoke canister gone with 20 seconds left.
Shoot those feet like you're Dan Schneider. The attack is happening. They've taken care of 1. Now they've got pressure into Laundry. They all fall by the wayside across him. The shotgun goes astray. What are you doing, my friend? Finds 1. Surely you don't clutch this now. Okay, I was about to say if that was the whiff of the ages, I would have been awe-stricken. But okay. They do win the defense. Okay, just calm down a tiny bit. I was about to lose my temper.
First, I got very caught up on your thing about Dan Snyder and the feet. Then I saw that, yes, and then I saw the only reason that Jackal was able to survive that is because the Thunderbird, which I said I don't like as a pick, kept him alive. I do not understand what
shaken by my Dan Schneider comment.
That Dan Schneider comment just threw me off.
Okay, well, let's take it back. Let's reel it in, reset. Okay, the scoreboard is 5-4. 2K have the lead and are on the defense. That might be all they need, but still 2 rounds more for that victory. It's all coming down to this.
2 rounds more than he needs to get to that victory, but it hasn't looked like it's that decisive yet. TKO look like they do know what they need to do. Maybe it's just that Synthetics need to start getting those kills. He is Finker. He is the one who's meant to be getting the kills, so maybe he just needs to change his approach a little bit.
And your approach could work. It seems, are the Cape Town servers actually something wrong with them? I can't report because I actually am not home at the moment, but it would be quite sad.
Do not know exactly what's happening with servers. But I wouldn't be surprised. I did see some problems earlier in the week where Ubisoft were trying to fix some other server issues in other regions, so I wouldn't be surprised if something was happening here. Ubisoft. But with that being said and done, it does look like TKO are doing a more similar push to what we saw out of 2K earlier on. Nah, scratch that, never mind. They're split up all over the place again.
So
the Ross takes a huge amount of damage.
Where's that coming from? Eric's is like a brass monkey in the winter. Oh, so cold. The black eyes to follow. Styling on him.
A brass monkey in the winter.
Hey, it's been 3 months of not casting. I need to show up with some terminology.
That is a new one, but with that being said, that was a very, very good run out there by Eric. He timed it well. He found the right angle. That's actually an old one that I, as a person, tend to forget about it, and I think a lot of people as well forget about that run out happening a lot. But with that being said, that's ace gone. That means TKO are very limited in their approaches to try and take this.
I feel a bit worried, it seems.
I
They know
wonder
the
why.
Jaeger's there. Yeah, they know the Jaeger's there, but they have no real way to answer back. He's lurking, and he's making his way up, but again, is he even going to do anything? We've seen time after time. 2K, they just lurk. The attackers need to pressure him. He doesn't have to do a thing.
That's the thing. Him just putting a little bit of pressure like that, not taking the gunfight, but
Literally him just reloading. They hear that,
Yeah.
and they're scared.
Yeah, that little bit of pressure is now stopping Maverick from opening that hole he needs to open. And with that being said, Jigs does actually find a C4, which has put them in the man advantage, so it's becoming even more important for the players on that side to try and do something, get that wall open, not let that Jaeger intimidate them. Synthetic, if any time is getting kills now, it's now, and he does start off with the bandit. Very important kill to find. That hatch is also open, which means that they're going to have to be very careful when they try and walk their way through here. They've got 40 seconds left. Maverick, you've got to get in there and make a play. He is halfway there. Still, he's got a lot of work to do. There's 2 players on the site. Eric's does find Synthetic now. It's all down to this Maverick on the site. He's on his own. What can he do? There's a player hard left in him. It's all down to the Kong. And we saw him make a huge clutch earlier, but Velo shuts him down before he can even find the first kill that he needs.
I was right about to say, just screw the Jaeger. There comes a time where you literally just say, okay, leave that Jaeger. It's a 3v2, but if you just say screw the Jaeger, he's going to take at the very least 20 seconds to get up top. Then you can force a 2v2 on site.
Yeah. And with that being said, we do actually have a timeout here from TKO.
I've never seen this. Is this new?
Yes, this is the new screen.
Why are you complaining, bro? Ubisoft making moves?
Ubisoft doing some good stuff, but they're also doing a lot of bad things.
Okay.
Ubisoft taking 3 seasons to fix LMGs. But with that being said and done, this is a very nice quality of life change that they made, and I'm very happy about it. It's very nice for the viewers to understand exactly what's happening with the timeout screens, and to see who's taking the timeouts and how many timeouts we have left and exactly what's happening. Very important to see. I think a lot of people tend to get confused about who's got what timeouts, and I think it's a good quality of life change. And I think as well, it was a good time for TKO to take that timeout. Yes, it is match point for 2K, but TKO are only 2 rounds down. Yes, they can't make a mistake, but it's not like they have to do it endlessly. They just have to do 2 rounds to get themselves to overtime.
Was that beep beep sound from the timeout? I was looking around my room like, what?
I do believe it was
come
actually.
back?
I do believe it was
such
from.
a strange audio cue.
Welcome back to SiegeCon, yeah. I see it's been a long time since you've been here.
It's been a while. Oh no. Okay. 2K on match point.
Yeah.
They were the social vote favorites. They were my favorites going into this. And it seems right now that's still holding.
Yeah, it's still holding. But it's a lot closer than what I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to be. Again, I think it's a lot to do with the fact that TKO are a very unknown team. Even the side of 2K, I think, are relatively unknown, but TKO, I had no expectations for them. I didn't know what to expect. So far, I've been impressed with them. I do think they have what it takes to bring this to overtime. 2K, on the other hand, they've shown that they've got the gun skill to be able to beat TKO. TKO need to figure out. I think the big problem they have is they've been splitting their attacks. Yeah. So maybe with that little discussion now, they've decided on a single push strategy to maybe just overpower the side of 2K.
Is this the site where they can amass the comeback?
Well, if there's any site to do so, I say it's this one. This is a site which does tend to be a little more balanced towards the attacker side. It does not tend to be your first pick, or your first or your second pick when it comes to defending. So, if it's any site to pull it back, to try and start this fight back on, it's here.
Now, TKO are perfectly playing into the hands of 2K. It seems they're going for a top clear, and that's what 2K has invested in.
Yes. They've invested on the top floor, and realistically, it's a smart way to do it. You need to clear out that top floor, but at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned about what TKO are going to do here, because yes, they're opening up this back wall here. They're going to try and push their way through.
but they were spending a lot of utility. That they're going to have to expend a lot of utility to force these players out. They should be using that utility on the side first, and worrying about the upstairs a little bit later, in my opinion.
Pillar's going to be the first point of contention, and well, they've got corner stations. They can just sit pretty and wait. TKO, the onus is truly on them to mount a comeback. As the 6p41 sprays on through, puts his name in the kill feed, not just yet. Doing almost no damage actually to the defenders. They are just waiting. Mirage to fall off by the wayside. It just seems it's not going the way for TKO.
It's not a good start to the round here. Mirage being gone, that's actually... But the good news is that for him, by now he should have used quite a bit of his utility to watch the flank. So it's just a question of what can they do macros. The Jack scans are coming out. That's going to make it they are fully aware of where one player is positioned. Synthetic is coming in from the other side trying to mount a pinch, but Eric's is still up alive. He's got his little crossfire there. He's going to make it very difficult for any pinch maneuver to come out here. He's still got the shield as well.
All of the action is happening on top. What are you? Why are there no subs in this lobby? Falling one after another, but hey, they've fallen back onto site. Only really Eric's posted up, waiting, debating when to make his move. The C4 sings on through. That's the one you were looking for, though a kill to equalize. 30 seconds left. This is still anyone's game.
Still anyone's game here. 30 seconds left. Jinx on the side though, that's all the C4 is gone. They've got no close plant utility, but Bakong does an important kill there on the Strix. That's the Rooney out the board. That's the very interesting little gun there that has some people very good with the guns, some people don't feel confident in it. But either way, that's a man advantage now to TKO. 10 seconds left, they're going to have to find a way to get the plant down. Macros is doing the plant and Synthetic is covering it, and it doesn't appear that 2K are aware of this at all. Bakong is completely distracting them.
They're just sitting in electrical and sitting by default plants, but now they need to make a move. They are moving indeed, but a bit too late. Can they find the opportune time to waltz on into those crossfires, or will this be them just falling by the wayside? They will build them up and break them down like they're a Lego Death Star falling down a 100-foot story building. This might be the comeback.
This might be the comeback that they needed. Very, very good round there. I'm not quite sure what 2K were looking at there. They weren't really... They just didn't react. They were just sitting there. It was as if they were just completely intimidated by the Jack being on the server door there.
So, importantly, I want to point out that this is a league format during the group stages, so you get less points for winning during overtime than you would during regulation. So if this goes overtime and 2K still win, that is bad for them. They want to win it out in this round.
Yeah, they want to get the full 3 points, especially since they are actually lower than TKO in the standings, so it could make the difference between them actually getting to playoffs or not. It could make the difference between them getting to LAN or not.
Oh, the stakes have never been higher.
Never been higher.
I mean, truly, like, during previous tournaments, sure, we've had big cash prizes, but we've never had a LAN. And surely that motivates you more than anything else.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't even... If I was still coach at this time in the scene, I would be working so hard to get my players to that LAN. I wouldn't even care what you're telling me. I wouldn't care if I'm not earning a salary or what. I would be working so hard just to be at that LAN. As I say that, I do need to sneeze, so Kanye, you'll have to just take over for a second here.
Hey, between sparkling water and a bit of dust, we truly are impeccable humans. Evolution has treated us well, but it's treated these players exceptionally well. The reaction times boasted by some of these players is quite truly amazing. Now then, we've got Eric's, the man that's seemingly always had the spotlight on him, following him like a perfect stage host. What can he do in this scenario? Left up top, TKO need to answer to this. It seems time after time they have just left someone up top, and sometimes it's worked, sometimes it's not. I feel like a negotiator in Brooklyn. Sometimes it works, sometimes it not. But hey, surely you need to shut him down at one point or another.
Surely we do, but surely they do need to shut him down, but TKO are gonna really have to find a way to shut them down, and they're gonna have to shut them down early because they cannot leave any of these big players from 2K to pull off something big. We've seen Velo go big throughout the game as well. TKO cannot afford an early entry loss here. That being said, they lose the Ying, probably the most important player they could have had.
Oh, EED expended and still on a timeout, but the gun works just as well. Finds the head. Good answer back. Sure, they've lost the Ying. That is instrumental, but they still have things to work with. They're starting to open up the hatches. It is not looking bleak for them just yet.
It's not looking bleak. There's a lot of things to work with. They're just a question of what can they do. They've got just over a minute here for themselves. They're gonna have to find a way to do something. They're gonna have to find a way to make this work. They've got the nades. They can force the player out here with Pillar. As I say that the first nade does say loud, does kill Velo, the other big player from the side of 2K. This is looking very good for TKO. They just need to capitalize off of this now.
Do you take a page right now out of 2K's book for the very first round? Do you just say, screw it, let's go fast like it's Ramadan?
Yeah, that could work. That could work very well. As being said, I think it was an FOV thing there, where unfortunately Mirage did not see Relapse sitting in the corner there. That could be the instrumental kill that 2K needed to keep TKO at bay. They've lost that man advantage. There's only 24 seconds left, and they do not have the positioning yet. They do not have the way onto the site yet. But as I say, that Strix does find Synthetic now. TKO not looking in a strong position. The nades are gone. They're going to have to find a way to clear out.
He's punched on through to the backline. They didn't know of his presence. Now, though, the diffuser is stuck on top stairs. He has the 4K. He needs the ace to win this. Whiffs with the pistol. No, Bakong going for the plant. Their very last hope, but he has to cancel it in the last moment. That is 2K with the W. Oh, he just couldn't find it.
Oh. If he hadn't pulled out the pistol, he could have won that gunfight. He should have just stuck with the main gun. But with that being said, that means 2K now get the full 3 points. That was not the ending to that TKO wanted. It started so well for them, especially when the nade came out and killed Velo. They had the cards in their hand. Everything was right for them, and then it just all fell apart in those last couple seconds for them.
I really thought TKO had it. I really did.
I really thought we were going to overtime them. I am actually as shook as what you with your feet reference earlier.
Hey, I've had some good analogies throughout this game, but hey, even more to follow. We've got a game at 10 p.m. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Yeah, that's right. We're actually back at 10. So that will be... Is it TKO again?
No, it is.
No, it's Kill 4
versus
it's
XL.
Kill 4 versus XL. So it should be
Yes, a lot of
banger
Ks.
match. Yeah.
3 of them.
3 of them. Should be a banger of a match. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys again soon. Are we ended off?